Hey everyone, welcome from the depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 68 of the Battleship Brawls Season 4 tournament. The Otsarva is continuing its, run through the ranks here, but it is at 2 losses, so another loss will see it eliminated from the tournament. And today we've got a newcomer trying to do just that. This is the Accursed by E68, which is a tiny little thing. It's like a patrol boat, almost. It's a little itty-bitty ship. What is it? Mortazel engines? I don't know what that means. But, well, it may have the hull of a patrol boat. Having 10 cram cannons mounted on it is definitely not a patrol boat type thing. This thing's like itty-bitty. It's like a little pocket ship. Okay, maybe it's not quite a patrol boat, but, I mean, just look at the size difference. Is like itty bitty. Some heavy armor on the outside of the turrets there. It does look quite nice. It's a very nice looking ship. Oh, and you get no public restroom. What? That's silly. Is that a fan? You can actually walk through most of this thing. Here into the command center. So that's pretty cool. Can you actually get down in the hull at all? Can you walk around inside the hull, or no? It doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. Confuses why this opening is here. Doesn't that just, merge 2 rooms together, both of which have air pumps? I think that block may have been missed. I don't know if that's supposed to be there like that or not. Yeah, you can't really see anything on the inside. This nice little bank of engines back here in this like grating thing. Protecting them somewhat. Won't really protect them all that much though. It's like, yeah, just kind of looks cool. And yeah, so that is the Accursed by E68. So now we will go ahead and get this thing underway. See if that that tiny little ship can, punch well above its weight class. This is gonna have to, because the Otsarva it's not huge, but it is, on the larger side for the tournament. And then this thing is tiny. So far, it's holding up pretty well to the Otsarva's fire. The guns haven't actually taken any hits, but the hull itself is quite durable, it seems. While the Otsarva is having huge chunks ripped out of it by the E68's weaponry. Or the E68, the Accursed by E68. Why do I always do that? Call a ship by the builder's name. There's a whole bunch of colors underneath the outer armor. Accursed has lost a lot of guns. Most of its weaponry has been disabled already, which is the unfortunate repercussion of being so tiny. Because cram cannons don't so much as miss as get evaded. And if this thing isn't fast enough to do that. But that gun did just take a direct hit from a cramshell and survived just fine. Ooh, that's gonna be a painful barrage. Man, the Otsarva is really liking bombarding right in this area. Now let's go for some bow shots. I mean, it is still within 5% of the Otsarva, despite being such a small ship. Oh, and it just popped the turret off the Otsarva. It actually, briefly, for like a fraction of a second there, I think, had a hit point lead. The guns on the Accursed seem pretty strong. And the hull is durable, it's just small. It is holding its own fairly well against the Otsarva here. Now it is starting to sink and list a bit. If this thing had better repair rate, it would be kind of a monster. Because it is barely repairing. But to be small and compact and resistant to damage plus high repair rate would make this quite the tanky little vessel, at least until the materials ran out. Yeah, I mean, look at that. This thing's like 5 meters of metal thick, and like the armor is 5 meters thick. That's that's impressive. But it does look like she has taken too much damage and is possibly only being kept afloat by drag at the moment. Drag and the fact that the nose keeps going, you know, angling upwards, so the propellers push it up out of the water. But the Accursed is fully on her side now. At this rate, may end up fully capsized. Even the underside armor seems... I mean, it's bouncing shells, taking hits and not losing blocks. Like, this is one... Like, the armor on this ship is impressive. I mean, look at that. Even the underside of the ship is just not really taking damage from hits. I mean, it's losing a few blocks, but most other ships, you start shooting into the belly, they'd have gigantic holes by now. The Accursed is just kind of like, meh. The Otsarva barely has a 5% lead after all this time of not being able to, of the Accursed not being able to fire back, and now it is completely capsized and still just sailing along. And there we are. That is the end of round 1. The Accursed spent most of it on its, you know, upside down, so it couldn't really do much, and it has been defeated. So let's go ahead and move on to round 2, and we will see how that goes. Otsarva getting its first volley away much quicker than the Accursed. Accursed taking, I think, 1 or 2 hits there. But not really taking much in the way of damage, but seems to be the theme of this ship. It's very compact, strong armor, and seemingly pretty strong guns. Otsarva just lost a gun there. Turret cap popped off. Accursed is actually ahead in hit points this go around. Probably due to popping off 2 of the turrets, at least in part. It's not a huge lead though, and the Accursed does have that issue with listing and sinking and then capsizing. Needs to knock out the Otsarva's guns before that happens, if it wants any chance to pull off a win, since it doesn't really have the repair rate to keep itself up like the Phoenix did. Those are some extraordinarily high arcing shells. That's going to be some plunging fire. But it went over. As is expected with shells that arc that high. Yeah. Both ships are fairly evenly matched in the hit point department, but while they may be equal in hit points, the Accursed is listing heavily enough that its guns are no longer able to elevate to the target. And if things keep going the way they are, she could very well end up sinking, if not or capsizing again. And another shell bounces. Like, see, that wasn't that shallow an angle, really, from whatever it hit, for it to bounce straight up like that. And we're seeing a lot of bounces off the Accursed hull and turrets and whatnot. More than usual. Yep, the Accursed is getting disqualification time for sinking at this point. Not really much she can do. She is completely under the water. Down she goes. Kaboom. So the Otsarva is victorious in round 2 as well, taking out its opponent basically by sinking it both times, and has earned another victory towards entering the Hall of Champions. Since the Accursed is new, or if you haven't already voted for the Otsarva, go ahead and check out the description where the Hall of Beauty links and all that good stuff will be. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.